Under the scorching sun of the American South, herds of giant Brahman cattle march across the fields like living fortresses, their heavy steps shaking the ground beneath them. But their journey does not end on the grasslands. Before long, these towering animals, each weighing more than 1,500 pounds, are carefully loaded onto massive aircraft. Inside the cargo hold, they cross entire oceans, bound for new continents where they will shape the future of farming. From blazing fields to endless skies, the story of these giants is one of strength, resilience, and global reach. Welcome to AgriWorks USA, the channel where we explore the hidden side of agriculture and livestock on a scale rarely seen. In today's episode, we'll uncover how giant cattle are bred, cared for, and transported across the world, and why they stand at the center of an expanding agricultural frontier. Stay with us, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the powerful stories behind the food and farming systems that sustain our world. The story of the giant Brahman cattle begins in the early 20th century, when breeds from India, renowned for their hardiness, were introduced to the United States. Farmers in Texas, Florida, and Louisiana quickly realized their value. These cattle could withstand extreme heat, resist insects, and thrive where European breeds often failed. Over time, selective breeding in America gave rise to the massive Brahman lines we see today, prized not only for their strength, but also for their adaptability. From those southern pastures, the cattle spread across Latin America, where countries like Brazil and Venezuela embraced them for large-scale ranching. In Asia, particularly in Thailand and the Philippines, Brahman cattle became a cornerstone of tropical livestock farming. Today, they are found in more than 60 countries worldwide, standing as a symbol of resilience in climates that challenge other breeds. This broad distribution reflects more than just agricultural success. It represents a global demand for an animal that can bridge tradition and modernity, sustaining economies from the American South to the savannas of Africa. Across the world, giant Brahman cattle are raised under models that balance tradition with modern efficiency. In the southern United States, large ranches allow herds to roam vast grasslands by day, grazing freely under the scorching sun before returning to feeding barns at night. This semi-extensive system supports both muscle development and stress reduction, creating animals with remarkable endurance. In Brazil, one of the largest Brahman producers, farms often span tens of thousands of acres, with herds numbering in the thousands. Here, rotational grazing is common. Pastures are divided into sections so that land can recover, preventing overgrazing and soil degradation. Meanwhile, advanced feed supplements, corn, silage, and soybean meal, are added to boost weight and ensure consistent growth. Smaller-scale farms in Southeast Asia adapt differently. With limited land, farmers integrate cattle into mixed systems, where Brahmans graze alongside crops such as rice or sugarcane. The cattle not only provide power for transport and plowing, but also produce manure that enriches the soil, forming a sustainable loop between animal and crop farming. Despite regional differences, the unifying principle is clear. Brahman cattle thrive best when managed under systems that respect their natural resilience while optimizing for modern agricultural needs. Do you think open grazing on pastures or confined housing is more effective? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss any fascinating discoveries from AgriWorks USA. Caring for giant Brahman cattle is a delicate balance between tradition and modern science. Each adult animal consumes 2 to 3% of its body weight daily, roughly 30-45 pounds of forage and grain, fortified with mineral blocks and protein supplements to sustain their towering frames. In the blazing heat of Texas or Florida, water becomes lifeblood. A single Brahman can drink 15-20 gallons a day, so ranches invest in automatic trough systems that keep supplies clean, flowing, and constant. Nutrition extends beyond bulk feeding. On some advanced ranches, grains are steamed or boiled before being blended with silage, softening tough fibers and enhancing nutrient absorption. This method not only ensures calves transition smoothly after weaning at 6 to 9 months, but also allows ranchers to measure exact intake, reducing waste and maintaining herd health. Animal welfare measures accompany every feeding strategy. Shade shelters rise like canopies across the pastures, ventilation fans hum in the barns, and misting sprays cool the herds during scorching afternoons. Veterinary teams conduct routine vaccinations, hoof care, and health checks, ensuring early detection of disease and minimal stress for the animals. By combining free-range grazing with carefully engineered nutrition and welfare programs, farmers cultivate Brahman cattle that are resilient, muscular, and healthy, living symbols of how modern ranching adapts to global demands without abandoning respect for the animals themselves. Managing herds of giant Brahman cattle requires both scale and precision. Large ranches in the southern United States often keep thousands of head, monitored through RFID ear tags, GPS collars, and digital health trackers. These tools allow farmers to detect illness early, measure weight gain, and adjust feeding or grazing schedules with scientific accuracy. Animal welfare is at the core of these systems. Brahmans are hardy by nature, but extreme heat demands constant vigilance. Farms construct shaded barns, misting systems, and wide ventilation corridors, ensuring animals remain cool and stress-free even at peak summer temperatures. Daily routines include moving cattle between open pastures and resting yards, a rhythm that balances exercise with recovery. Veterinary teams conduct scheduled vaccinations, parasite treatments, and hoof care, while round-the-clock staff are trained to handle cattle calmly, reducing injury and anxiety. Even during transport between ranches, specialized trucks provide space, airflow, food, and water. By merging advanced technology with traditional husbandry, ranches not only maintain high survival and growth rates, but also build consumer trust. The sight of these giant cattle thriving under careful management highlights how modern ranching can align profitability with responsibility toward animal welfare. Do you believe international air transport for cattle is sustainable? How do you think long-distance journeys affect their health? Share your opinion about this process in the comments. I'm really looking forward to your feedback. The journey of giant Brahman cattle from remote ranches to international markets is a logistical feat that blends precision with animal welfare. It begins at the farm, where cattle are gathered into holding yards and inspected for health and weight. Veterinarians check vaccination records, while handlers provide feed and water to minimize stress before travel. For domestic transfers, specialized trucks equipped with non-slip flooring and ventilation carry about 8,100 animals per trip. Compartments are fitted with feed bins and water tanks to keep cattle comfortable during the hours-long drive to airports or processing hubs. Loading ramps are designed with gentle slopes to prevent injuries, and handlers use calm herding techniques to guide the massive animals. Once at the airport, the operation shifts to an even larger scale. Cattle are placed into reinforced containers, steel-frame crates with bedding, ventilation, and water supply systems. Hydraulic lifts load each unit into wide-body aircraft, where cargo bays are spacious enough to accommodate both the weight and size of the Brahman. Cameras and sensors monitor the cattle mid-flight, ensuring stability and safety. From the blazing heat of Texas pastures to the cool cargo holds of transoceanic plains, every step reflects the global reach of modern ranching, where giant cattle cross continents as living ambassadors of agricultural trade. The giant Brahman is more than a ranch animal. It is a global economic asset. In 2020, U.S. beef and cattle exports surpassed 3.1 million tons, worth over $9 billion, with Brahman genetics playing a crucial role in meeting tropical market demand. Their heat and parasite resistance make them especially prized across Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America, where they are crossbred to improve local herds. Domestically, Brahmans drive revenue through breeding stock, live exports, and specialized leather markets. Each adult animal, often weighing more than 1,500 pounds, can command premium prices when shipped abroad. Nations such as Vietnam, Indonesia, and Saudi Arabia view them not only as meat sources, but also as genetic investments for long-term productivity. Transported by cargo planes or ships, these massive cattle symbolize a fusion of tradition and commerce. Raised on sprawling American ranches, yet shaping agricultural trade worldwide. From genetics to global exports, Brahman cattle underpin an industry that spans continents and fuels billions in value. Do you think this industry should be more transparent in its farming and transportation practices? Type yes if you agree, or share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep exploring with AgriWorks USA. The rise of giant Brahman cattle sparks ongoing ethical debate. On ranches, critics question whether breeding for extreme size serves animal welfare or merely maximizes profit. While farms invest in feed, shade, and veterinary care, concerns remain about the stress of confinement and selective breeding that prioritizes weight over natural behavior. Transport magnifies the issue. International flights confine hundreds of cattle for long hours, even with monitoring systems in place. Animal rights advocates argue that no technology can fully eliminate the strain of such journeys. Supporters counter that Brahman exports support global food security and rural economies, framing them as necessary for a growing world population. Yet opponents maintain that humane treatment must stand equal to economic demand. The ethical challenge lies in finding a balance where livestock production sustains both human needs and animal dignity. Giant Brahman cattle illustrate both resilience and risk. Their ability to thrive in hot, humid regions reduces reliance on cooling systems and makes use of lands unsuitable for other breeds, offering a potential asset in a warming world. However, their scale comes with heavy costs. Vast pastures are required, and overgrazing can degrade soil, erode landscapes, and displace native species. Each animal consumes up to 20 gallons of water daily, straining resources in drought-prone areas. The international transport of live cattle adds another layer of impact, with flights producing high carbon emissions and waste. While innovations like rotational grazing and improved water systems show promise, the industry must carefully balance productivity with stewardship. Without tighter environmental safeguards, the global expansion of giant cattle risks trading short-term gains for long-term ecological damage. From the sun-scorched ranches of Texas to airplanes crossing oceans, giant Brahman cattle symbolize both the ambition and dilemmas of modern ranching. They showcase resilience and global reach, yet also spark debates about ethics, environment, and sustainability. The challenge ahead is clear. How can we feed a growing world without pushing animals and ecosystems beyond their limits? The future of these massive herds may depend on genetics, smarter farming systems, and consumer choices that demand responsibility. But the question remains, is scaling livestock to such extremes truly the answer? Or is it time to rethink our relationship with food and nature? If you found this journey thought-provoking, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to explore more stories with AgriWorks USA.